Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 6 starts now.
Springtime snow is on the way. By the time you wake up tomorrow, there could be a couple of inches on the ground. Winter weather advisories have been issued for 39 counties across the state. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kimberly Gill.
And I'm Damon Fernandez in for Devin Skillian. Let's get right on over to 4-1 meteorologist Kim Adams with a look at the latest timetable for the snow.
Well, once again, it's really more the timing of the snow than the amount. It is going to come at least through part of the morning commute, but not all of Metro Detroit will be affected. So here's the current timeline. Begin sometime around between 6 and 8 a.m. We'll have scattered snow showers. That will continue up until about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Between 3 p.m. and 7 p.m., that's the evening commute, will be mainly dry with just a few flurries around. But then at 7 o'clock, another round of snow will develop, and there could be some pockets of fairly heavy snow. So the National Weather Service did issue a winter weather advisory. It is in effect for Livingston, Oakland, and Macomb counties and areas up into the Thumb. It does not include Wayne County. Doesn't mean there won't be snow there, but the heaviest snow that will impact travel will be in these areas shaded in that bluish purple color. We are watching the snow out to the west of us, still several hours away. Again, we don't expect things to get going until at least between 6 and 8 a.m. tomorrow. And then our high gets to about 36 degrees. So the weather story, we'll have snow adding up for Friday, then cold air returns for the weekend, but next week gets a little warmer and rain returns for next week. So we'll talk more about timing and exactly what amount you can expect in your neighborhood.
Okay, Kim, and you're going to want to keep your eye on the 4Warn Weather app as the storm moves through. You can download it for free in the App Store. Just search WDIV.
And the 4-1 weather team will be watching the storm to give you the most accurate forecast when you wake up. So join Ashley Barrissey and former police officer Darnell Blackburn starting at 4:30 a.m. for what you need to know about the weather and traffic before sending your kids off to school in the morning.
A call to action tonight after the home invasion and sex assault of 2 elderly women over the weekend.
It's so disturbing. It happened Sunday afternoon in Dearborn. Sean Lay joins us live with more on the investigation and what you can do to protect that senior in your life.
Good evening, Damon. Good evening, Kim. Here's the deal. We have to protect our seniors. I've covered a number of these predatory attacks on seniors. They all have the same common denominator, and that is someone coming to the door, a predator, and offering help for work. One, about 10 years ago, was to rake leaves. Another one in Dearborn, that was a homicide. That was to mow a lawn. For the to the sisters in Dearborn this past week, it was a knock at the door and the predator saying, alleged predator, that he wanted to fix the roof. That is the way in for these guys, and there is one thing now. We asked our experts what you should tell a senior that you love right now. Take a look.
I can tell you that was random.
It was an unconscionable attack on 2 sisters ages 78 and 85, police say, at the hands of 52-year-old Michael Holcomb. If you have a senior in your life, this part is very important. We are told Holcomb became aware of these 2 sisters when he was working recently on a home nearby. Sunday, he knocked on their door and told them that their roof needed repair. When they opened the door, he forced his way in. Holcomb is charged with sexually assaulting the sisters, assault to do great bodily harm, and more.
Count 6, and this is a count that we rarely charge. And again, we've been doing this for a very long time. Torture, victim 1. Count 7, torture, victim 2.
The tactic of targeting a senior by telling them they are there to do some work has happened many times before. So we're with our crime and safety expert, Darnell Blackburn. We have a question for him. If we have a senior in our life, a grandparent, how do we keep them safe?
Tell them do not open the door for anybody that they don't know. Let them know that if they feel uncomfortable, it's so uncomfortable, they need to call the police right away.
Call family, call police.
Call family, call police.
Police will not mind if you call them.
Especially if they're seniors and they're living alone. And they should state that when they call. I'm a senior citizen, I live alone, I don't know who this person is knocking on my door.
So Sean, you can always call the police, and I encourage residents, if they think something seems out of place or they have concerns, to contact the police. So I would agree with that.
All right, back here live. So we'll get back to Michael Holcomb here, the person you just saw there in court. Now, charges against him were requested out of Allen Park. The chief tells me that they believe Holcomb attacked and brutalized a 13-year-old girl at a sleepover the same day the sisters were attacked. Also, the takeaway here, guys, is tell a senior that you know and love, don't open that door. Call police. Police will not mind at all. If it's a false alarm, nothing, they will come and check it out. Let's keep our seniors safe. We're live tonight. Sean Lee, Local 4, back to you.
Thanks for those tips, Sean. Well, the fate of Line 5 is uncertain right now.
The 70-year-old pipeline runs through the middle of the state and was the center of debate today inside a Cincinnati courtroom. At issue is whether the federal or state court should hear Michigan's argument to have the Canadian-owned pipeline shut down.
Local 4 investigator Karen Drew has done in-depth reporting on Line 5 and has today's developments.
Well, this has been a 5-year battle so far. Today, a federal judge heard arguments on both sides of the issue over where the Line 5 case should be heard. I spoke with State Attorney General Dana Nessel this morning as a crowd in favor of keeping the case here in Michigan was gathering outside the federal courthouse.
We have people today, let's hear you in the back, from Traverse City. We got people who came down today from Detroit.
Attorney General Nessel standing up to Big Oil, standing up to Enbridge.
This is ours. We elected Dana Nessel to take this to court for us.
Attorney General Dana Nessel says the shutdown of Line 5 is a Michigan issue.
This is a violation of public trust. It's a public nuisance. It violates the Michigan Environmental Protection Act. Those are all state laws.
Concerns over Line 5's passage through the Straits of Mackinac led the state to issue a shutdown order. That was in 2019. Enbridge ignored the shutdown order, so AG Nessel filed suit in state court. But more than a year into the case, Enbridge had it moved to federal court, and Nessel appealed. Today, both sides made their arguments to a federal appeals court judge.
And in the event that we're not successful, I don't know what the point is of us having state courts and state laws in the first place if everything could just be litigated in federal court instead.
In a statement emailed this morning, an Enbridge spokesperson said it is confident that ultimately the Sixth Circuit Court will agree with the lower court's decision that this dispute, which has generated a U.S. foreign policy controversy, properly belongs in federal court. The company added it is investing in renewables, developing cleaner oil and gas solutions, and transporting and delivering these energy resources safely and sustainably. All you need to do is go to Click on Detroit to read the full response from Enbridge. Attorney General Nessel said it could take months before the federal court's decision is issued. She's hoping she can pick up where she left off in state court. Also, to get you caught up on the history of the pipeline, the problems it has had, as well as a behind-the-scenes look at how Line 5 is monitored and repaired, we are re-airing our special tonight on Local 4 Plus at 9:30. Back to you guys.
Okay, Karen, thank you. A second case of measles has been identified in Washtenaw County.
And tonight, health officials are warning the public about the possibility of exposure. Our Victor Williams joins us now with where people could have picked up that virus.
Oh yeah, DeMond and Kimberly, after a person was exposed to the virus and then went to several locations over the span of 5 days, here's where you need to know if you probably went there, you need to monitor any symptoms of this virus. It was starting right here at Michigan Medicine's emergency room on March the 10th and 11th. It happened at 10:40 a.m. to 4 p.m. on March the 10th and then 7:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. on March the 11th. The second floor of U of M's Alice Lloyd Dormitory on March the 11th, also from 6:45 a.m. to 9 a.m. After that, CVS Pharmacy on Jackson Road, also on the same day from 3:20 to 5:40 p.m. Next Care Urgent Care on Washtenaw Avenue in Ann Arbor on March the 12th from 10 a.m. to 2:15 p.m. CVS Pharmacy this time on Plymouth Road from the hours of 4:45 to 7 p.m. on March the 14th. And then lastly, Trinity Health Care Urgent Care on Jackson Road, March 15th, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m.
For anyone that doesn't have prior immunity and was in these spaces, we'd be very concerned about them becoming ill.
And remember, this is very contagious, so if you guys were in this space at this point in time, it's best to once again monitor any symptoms that you have and then also check your vaccination status. Victor Williams, Local 4.
All right, Victor, thanks for that update. Well, Michigan's population growth is among the worst in the nation, and it has experts sounding the alarm for some action in Lansing.
Local 4 business editor Rod Maloney is with us live tonight with a look at more on the problem and hearing from college kids who are fanning the flames of trouble. Rod.
Yeah, you know, Karen, here's the thing. 20 years ago, a group called Michigan Future, a think tank, put out a report they deemed so controversial at the time that the guys who helped write it wouldn't even put their names on it for fear of retribution. They said we needed major change, and it turns out they were dead on. And now the governor's Growing Michigan Together Council report says roughly the same thing. Michigan needs to change, and fast. A generation ago, Michigan Future said knowledge-based industries and young professionals will be the most important drivers of future economic growth, pointing out Michigan needs to increase the labor force participation rate and to attract and retain more wealthy residents with high capital income. Adding to that trouble, the Growing Michigan Together Council report says today Michigan is 49th out of 50 in terms of population growth, and currently fewer than 33% of Michigan students are proficient in reading or math in the 4th and 8th grade, and grade 4 reading proficiency for black students in Michigan is only 10%. Detroit Chamber CEO Sandy Barua sits on both organizations' boards and says this is a problem we all need to rally around.
We have not defined what we want to be as a state, like states like Virginia or Texas or South Carolina or Tennessee, where they have a consistent policy executed by whoever's governor, regardless of party, year over year, term over term, to drive to a result.
Today's manufacturing means ultra-high-tech engineering designed by what Barua calls the high flyers, highly educated young people we found at the University of Michigan campus who might want to live in Michigan. Do you expect to live in Michigan?
Probably not. I would love to go back to California and go home.
Colorado would be nice.
California is sometimes an option, New York City. I'm more of like a big city person, I feel like.
Now, one of the things that Barua says has to happen is Michigan needs to be attracting those kinds of workers to the state. We can hold on to a lot of them, but we need to attract more from other places. That is not happening. He says that mass transit is one of the things that they crave. We don't have it. He says that needs to change as well.
Yeah.
Reporting live, Rod Maloney, Local 4.
Okay, Rod, thank you.